Hi there. If you aren't using complex sentences in your CELPIP writing, you won't improve your score. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at ways that you can use complex sentences to avoid using simple subjects and get a higher score in your CELPIP writing. We'll be working with this email to a restaurant manager, complaining about a celebratory meal that you tried to organize with your partner. If you put yourself in the examiner's shoes, the first thing you notice as you read this email is that almost all of the sentences start with very simple subjects, usually pronouns. I'm writing to complain about the service and meal that I experienced at your restaurant. I was at Antonio's last Friday. I know Antonio's can be busy, and I know you have a waiting list that is about 3 months long. Therefore, I called early and I booked well ahead of time because I wanted my husband and I to celebrate our anniversary there. We really looked forward to our special evening and we thought it was going to be great. However, we had to wait for our table for about 45 minutes and no one could explain to us what was going on. Eventually, the waiter showed us to our table, but he didn't apologize for the wait. When our dinner arrived, it was not what we had ordered. Someone had confused the orders from different tables. We tried to talk to the waiter, but he dismissed us and he never returned. Unfortunately, my husband is allergic to seafood, and the meal we received was a seafood platter. We had to leave and we had to eat elsewhere. I prepaid for the reservation and the menu, and I would like to receive a full refund and move on from this unfortunate event. Regards, Joe Smith. So it's a nice little email, but all those simple subjects tell the examiner that you're using simple sentences. You may have some of them connected with however, therefore, unfortunately. You may even have a couple of subordinating conjunctions. There's a because in there. But overall, there are far too many of those simple subjects for the examiner to be able to give you a higher score. So we're going to take a look at some ways that we can get rid of some of these pronouns and simple subjects by using complex sentences and combining two or more ideas. So in this paragraph, you saw that we had 3 simple subjects, and we can reduce those to 2 by using an appositive. So instead of saying, I am writing to complain about the service and meal that I experienced at your restaurant, I was at Antonio's last Friday, we can say, I'm writing to complain about the inadequate service and disappointing meal that I experienced at your restaurant, Antonio's, last Friday. So now we've only got 2 instead of 3. In this next paragraph, we've got 3 sentences, and in the first sentences, we've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 simple subjects. So we can reduce that to 1 simple subject by using an adjective clause. So here we go. Aware that Antonio's can be busy and has a 3-month waiting list, I made the reservations for our anniversary celebration early. And by adding first, we also pick up points for organization. So you can see I've only got that 1 simple subject. In the rest of the paragraph, we've got 2 sentences, And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 simple subjects. And so we can combine those two sentences and use a couple of gerunds and a parallel so that we reduce it down to just one. So here we go. It looks like this. We were really looking forward to enjoying our special evening, expecting it to be great. However, despite arriving on time, 45 minutes lapsed before our table was ready, and no apology, explanation, or recompense was made. And so you can see I've only got that one simple subject instead of the 7 that I started out with. In this next paragraph, there are 5 sentences, and we'll use second to pick up points for our organization. So in the first sentence, we use the passive voice to reduce the simple subjects from 2 to 1. So there's the first one and the second one. And so the meal that was serviced was not what we had ordered. In the next sentence, we'll use the passive voice to completely remove that someone. So we don't need that anymore. That passive voice can be super useful because it also raises the level of formality in what should be a rather formal email of complaint. And that helps you get that higher score too. Now in the third sentence, we use a subordinating conjunction and a couple of participle adjectives to go from the 3, 1, 2, 3, down to 1. And then we'll combine the last 2 sentences in this paragraph using a subordinating conjunction. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go with our subordinating conjunction. And we've only got 1. So you can see as we're moving along, we're reducing those simple sentences. Those are the things that stick out to the examiner as she's reading. Okay, and we're almost done. So in this last sentence, we'll use a subordinating conjunction so that we can get rid of one of these 2 simple subjects. So our sentence looks like this, and since is our subordinating conjunction, and then I is we've only got that one simple pronoun. And then we sign off, regards Joe Smith. When my students study complex sentences, I turn them into colours because I think it really helps to bring home just how much needs to be happening in their written responses to the CELPIP writing tasks before the examiners can see that they're deserving of those higher scores. And so here you can see the difference in the colours that the examiner can see when she reads the 2 versions of this email. So the one on the left would probably score a 7, whereas the one on the right would score at least a 9. I hope you found my video useful, and if you'd like some help with your CELPIP preparation, give me a call at 613-614-6460. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.